How does this go again?
Greetings, Ventureroos!
Hi!
Welcome back to episode 19 of
A Very Venture Vodcast.
Today we are going to talk about season 5?
It's I would say like the beginning of season 5.
I'd say this is kicking it off.
I would say it'll probably be on the next DVD, so, you know. It is the Very Venture Halloween episode.
Ooh, scary.
That we have to discuss. And there's a lot to discuss. Essentially because there's like a ton of content that we weren't expecting. We thought it would just kind of a spooky things happen. Didn't realize it was going to be such a plot driving episode.
There's so much stuff.
And if you remember at Dragon Con, Doc was saying that for the new season, there's going to be a huge amount of new content to prepare ourselves, essentially.
He basically said, hold on to the seat of your pants, we're giving you guys a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So, which we're really excited about.
We're very excited.
First of all, we missed the show like crazy.
I didn't even realize it until I saw, Doc and Orpheus talking at the table.
Yeah.
And it was just this moment of oh my god, I missed this
long.
show.
Yeah.
And these people.
So, the new episodes will be airing in January or February of 2013, and we're really excited. It's actually going to be the 10-year anniversary of the pilot episode.
Isn't that insane?
Which is crazy.
It won't be on the anniversary, but it's, the pilot was in, 2003.
Yeah.
In, I think it was February is when it aired, and I think that it looks like these episodes are going to be, in January or February, which is crazy, and also why it feels like I've been watching this show
forever.
For 10 years. Secondly, it looked so beautiful. You kind of forget. I was watching some of the older episodes recently, and you kind of forget. The show, it always looks good, but just it's so on this next level.
Yeah.
They do that part where the zombies are bursting out of the ground, and it kind of circles around them with this the CGI magic, and I was this looks gorgeous.
Yeah, it was a beautiful moment of zombies, which is something that I'm totally comfortable saying because it's the Venture world.
This is why it takes a long time to get episodes, because
they do
when they come
stuff.
out, they're absolutely gorgeous, and it's kind of probably much closer to what they wanted in the beginning. You know.
So this episode was written by Doc Hammer,
obviously,
clearly. Lots of feelings. There's even that Orpheus moment at the end where he kind of gave the moral of the story and summarized things for everyone. It was so sweet. It wasn't even a goof or anything.
Yeah, there wasn't a moment where a cat is sniffing his crotch or something. It is just completely genuine.
Yeah, it was just I'm Mr. Rogers and I'm summing up this episode right now. And it was so sweet and it was insightful, which was weird, but
that's why we love the show, because that there is that balance of
action and adventure, and then there's
sassiness, fart jokes, and sweetness.
But they develop the characters and they spend so much time with these people, and you really get to know them and their hopes and fears and all that stuff, and
they're becoming who they
want to be. So some of the high points.
Yeah. First, let's talk about Dean. Okay.
Oh, let's talk about Dean.
Let's talk about Dean. He has a new look.
Wow.
He has, and it wasn't, at first I was is this his costume? But then when Dermot comes into the house, he goes, why aren't you guys dressed yet? And so it means that this is his new look.
Yeah, black speed suit.
Can't wait to see it, also want to wear it. It's fantastic.
Especially if he ever adopts those Buddy Holly glasses that they talk about.
He's got this fantastic hair. He's...
this is he dyed his hair darker.
Or
and
it's grown
swept
out,
to the side.
so it's darker.
I don't know. It seems like he dyed it.
It's a little emo.
It's kind of cute, though.
But it's adorable.
And he has that little, stubble mustache beard thing happening.
Which means, which raises the question, how much time exactly has passed?
Well, they showed stuff from last Halloween, so it can't have been that long.
That's true.
He's kind of coming into his own and decided that he's going to be, into this, but in his own way. And which I love, and I think he protects Hank by not telling him about the clones.
That's our interpretation. I've seen other people say that him not telling Hank or choosing not to tell Hank that they're clones is his way of pulling away from that relationship and kind of closing himself off, but
individualizing himself.
Just that he's drifting apart. They're not part of the same team anymore. But I I disagree, or we disagree. I think that it's a lot more like he's protecting him because he doesn't want that information.
No, he was shocked.
Yeah.
And a lot torn up about it.
Yeah, so I don't see that as being necessarily, like, detrimental to the relationship. I just think that it's showing him as being, like, this separate character who's going to be doing his own kind of soul-searching in Season 5.
When he cares about Hank, he doesn't want him to have to, like, go through that whole... Mm-hmm. He just had this whole, like, night of, like, oh my gosh, my whole world is different now. Mm-hmm. What do I do? And
beer tastes like pee-pee. What?
Beer tastes like pee-pee.
What a night of disappointments.
Yeah, all of the things.
So we think that Season 5 will be, like, what Season 4 was for Hank. Which was, like, oh, this
coming into his own.
And, which is... really
basically
good.
Puberty is happening.
Pretty much. And he's the late bloomer, no surprise.
And Dean's like that like grumpy, obviously influenced by Dermot.
You mean Hank?
Hank, yeah, sorry. Like kind of this like not troubled, but like difficult teenager. And I think Dean's gonna take a completely different route and not be so whiny. You saw bits of it in this episode where he was the one who went into the haunted mansion, and he was just like,
to be
forget
alone.
You got,
according to Hank.
I think he just wants to be alone. I wonder, that is a sign. Maybe they are spending less time together.
Perhaps, but
it's normal.
I don't think it's necessarily negative. Like, Dean, we were talking about how Dean is like, we were really bummed out about him in Season 4.
Yeah.
Like,
he was sad.
He was really sad. He seemed so aimless. Like, he kept getting mixed up in these things that were, like, dead ends or, like, just terrible. You know, like when he was interning for the Revenge Society.
Uh-huh.
And he just seemed really bummed out and, like, on the verge of tears all the time, and more than usual.
Yeah, he seems like he's figuring it out that, like, I'm going to do it my way.
Yeah.
You know?
And hopefully that way will end up not being like Dr. Venture. Seriously, hopefully not. Like, hopefully it'll be a
successful
new, like, he'll grow up into himself, but not be like his dad, because that would be the worst. But it'll definitely be interesting. I mean, we're definitely paying attention to Dean. I mean, like, what's happening here?
This is the season of the Dean.
Yeah.
So, and can you imagine how Triana is going to react when she sees Dean, like, a little gopped out? I think she's going to have the hots for him.
I hope that it doesn't happen for a while. Like, I hope that he continues to getting more and more independent and having his own thing happening. And then I hope that when they run into each other again, he's just like, oh, hey, Triana. And she's all like,
heart flutter. So, Dermot.
God, I can't believe we're talking about Dermot. I mean, I don't know how you feel, but I kind of changed my tune a little bit about him.
He was a lot less annoying in this episode.
It's kind of like Doc Hammer was so put out that people disliked him so much that he worked really hard to make him likable.
Make him a little more like, and I think he's like easing us into it. It was gradual. It was like, he was still a little annoying. He's like, this isn't a costume, it's a disguise. I'm dressed up as the Crow, so it is a costume. But it was just like, he was still like a little abrasive, but like he agreed with Hank on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It was like supportive. It was a different side of Dermot. The softer side.
Yeah, it wasn't as much like fronting.
Yeah.
You know, it was a lot more just like, oh.
Showing off constantly. It's like he's a little more comfortable now.
He actually was he said at least a couple things to Hank that were like, good idea.
Yeah.
You know, and
they talked about Orion's belt.
Yeah.
They talked about constellations together.
No big deal.
It's adorable.
I think it means that Hank is having he's rubbing off
on
Dermot in a good way. And probably the whole relationship with their family is probably actually making him less of a douche.
Well, except for what about the treatment that Dr. Venture gave him?
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, now that Dr. Venture knows that Dermot is his son,
he's gonna be a dick to him?
He made him leave the house and ring the doorbell. And Orpheus was like, what's with the harsh treatment? And he was like, I have my reasons. Grumble, grumble.
So, this is his technique, is to...
It's like the tough love theory?
Keep him at arm's length, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, you are a neighbor. You are not a person that lives here.
You need to ring the doorbell. Oh, Dr. Venture. So many issues.
I'm sure that's gonna be a great method to get exactly what you want, but not.
But not.
But not at all.
Yeah, what about... There was that Go Team Venture moment with Hank and Dermot. And Dean was kind of like, hell no.
I love that it was like ironic, you know, like he was making fun of it, but
it was so comfortable.
But it was actually legit Go Team Venture.
Dermot is technically part of Team Venture?
Yeah. That doesn't bum me out as much as it used to.
So, the Brimstone Assembly?
Yeah. That's a new freaking society that we
have to
keep track of in the Ventureverse.
I'm sorry, another order or society
or
guild or whatever. Another one.
League or whatever. It's an assembly of like these magical people apparently. That have been around. It's been around for like 330 or so years.
There's no party ties or anything. It seems to be
Exactly.
pretty across the board. They're from a bunch of different places. So I just thought it was so interesting that like they've been meeting all this time and we had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, like apparently there's at least 2 members of the guild that are associated with the guild there.
Yeah.
So I mean there's like at least 1 member. Dragoon/Red Mantle, so I guess there's 2 are part of, well, okay, there was 1 who's part of the Council of 13 for the Guild of Calamitous Intent. So Orpheus has been hanging out with these people like for a while and it never was an issue or like
apparently that all gets left at the door and they come in for Magic the Gathering. Which I loved, like +1 for that.
So we're there at the meeting because Jefferson Twilight's now a member.
Oh yeah, he's a new member.
Magic now.
But what is his magic?
I don't...
The Shining?
Oh, different black guy.
Nope.
He...
But that weird talking in between the worlds
such
communication thing.
We'll see how he can pull that out again. But he,
yeah,
so he's
it might have a freak incident.
Yeah, so
I don't know if you could recreate that.
Like, and when? How often does that come up? I don't know.
Well, it's the Venture World, so probably more often than anywhere else.
So he's there, getting like his first,
his induction.
His first induction.
Well, his first taste of what they do.
Yeah, which apparently is standing in a circle and showing off things that they can do.
I loved the light as a feather stiff as a board thing that they did, but instead of calling it that, they were like, light as with the weight of a plume, as inflexible as cut timber. I was like, that's awesome.
Everything should be magic vibes. They weren't super original. And then there was the hat out of or rabbit out of a hat. Hat out of the rabbit. That would be a good trick. So then you've got like some other colorful characters, which we might see more of. The one that really I noticed was the hideous owl lady with her like hideous owl sweatshirt and the like owl sitting on her shoulder. So
I know, hideous. She was so attractive.
Did you want to cosplay as her?
I was thinking about it. But the master has now met the rest of the triad.
Yes.
He's met all of them now.
So what does that mean for the group?
I don't, but they're all magical now, so he can, I guess.
Yeah.
So is he like the mentor to all of the magical people, but Orpheus is just his favorite?
It seems like...
Because he said he lives in a lot of their closets.
That's true. I mean, it seemed like they all knew who he was.
Yeah, they're like, bow down,
yes,
it's the master.
But that they didn't... It seemed like a lot of them weren't familiar with him in the same way.
No, they don't know him as well as Orpheus does.
So, I mean, I guess probably in Season 5 we'll get a lot more of H. John Benjamin doing, which is great, and more of this character, who apparently also possibly could be the devil? Am I the last person to connect that? Like,
Unclear. I think there's a possibility. My theory is that if he was actually the devil, he would not have stopped the zombie attack.
But what if he's like some complex...
The devil with a conscience?
Devil creature thing. Because like I thought it was some kind of weird demon-y thing from the underworld, like not exactly good nor evil or something. Like it's obviously unclear. But
yeah,
for
it's pretty ambiguous.
Dragoon to be like, it's the devil, and then immediately he was like, he knocked him out and kind of like...
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, Dragoon was talking crap about everybody there the entire time. He was like, sorcery and witchcraft, and this is the thing of the dark, and like he called the alchemist
blasphemers. And
yeah, like
that.
it was
just, again, it's like another weird layer to Orpheus of like
great,
like
another layer of weird
to Orpheus, who I didn't think was that complex of a character, but like, what is his deal?